right, so I would like to welcome everyone to the September 21st meeting of the Newmarket Town Council, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the roll call, and I just want to mention that Councilor Blackstone is excused this evening. The next item is public forum. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak this evening? If you could just state your name and address for the record, please.
Sean Hogan, 5 Chapel Street. Whew, I hate public speaking. Anyway, I'm here mostly to offer just a very brief rebuttal for a letter that was presented, I believe, last council from Ben Stebbins. I guess it was rebuttal to my rebuttal. But I guess before I wanted to get into that, I just wanted to offer a brief bit of praise for your police chief. We had a little protest last week, and the police were very professional, chill, and I was super nervous that I was going to get stomped and tasered or whatever, but didn't happen. And when he found out how scared I was, he reached out and talked to me for quite a while, and he's very invested in good community relations. So, like, good job to whoever hired him. Okay, so the 2 points I wanted to address. Ben Stebbins mentioned, as a defense for himself, that he holds a certain number of units, I believe 20 to 30% of units is affordable, and I believe him. I don't think he's lying. But by his own admission, he's buying units that were below market, and so these, I think, would qualify as general workforce affordable housing. And so taking those off the market and then preserving 20 to 38% is like taking $100 from you and then giving you 20 back and saying, like, you're welcome. At least that's what it feels like to me. The second point that he made was that he is doing a lot of improvements to the units. And this is true, but it's a question of improvements for who, because it's not the current residents. He displaces them. At least that's what I've observed in my building. The people are displaced, and then the improvements get made. So it's not like he comes to us and says, you know what, I have to raise the rent, it's business, but let's try and get your units up to code, for example. He doesn't do that. He waits for you to leave, and then he makes them nice for someone else. I believe he mentioned installing better energy light bulbs, and so all I could hear is, sure, I displaced like 20 people, but I installed, energy efficient light bulbs. You're welcome, Newmarket. My unit, for example, still doesn't have heat, and not that that's super important right now, but when I gave him a list of all the issues with the apartment, it's not like he came back to me with an offer of how to fix it and meet me part way. He doesn't do that. I don't really think he cares about what people like me think. I think he cares what people with power think, and I just hope that's something you keep in mind. He did say something I did agree with a lot, and that is that fixing the housing crisis won't be done by property companies like himself, which I don't blame him. He doesn't really have the power to do that. That's definitely going to be a matter of for policymakers such as yourself in the State House. It's really cool that you're on the council in this moment. You have a little bit of power. I like to think that your moms are proud of you. I just hope you use it for people like me and the people who had even less ability to speak out than myself. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
The next item that we have on our agenda is for the acceptance of minutes, and we have one item, and that is from our September 7th meeting, and so I would accept a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll move to approve the September 7th minutes.
I'll second.
Any questions, comments, changes to the minutes? Seeing none, if you could call the roll, please.
Councilor Braybeck?
Abstain.
Councilor Lamatina?
Aye.
Councilor White?
Abstain.
Councilor Ward?
Aye.
Councilor Conley?
Aye.
Councilor Weinstein?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0-2.
Thank you. And before we move on, do we know if the request to speak is working.
Not on my screen.
I don't even know, yeah, I don't see it either.
I'm not able to get even in for some reason, and then I was trying to look up the agenda on the town website, and it does not look like it's up for this week or last week.
I'm on, but it took me a while to, and I honestly don't know how.
Okay. All right, then I will say that the request to speak is probably not working. I don't see it on mine either.
Right.
So if people can please raise their hands. I was able to access the agenda without an issue on my computer, so.
What are we using now? No, that I tried to use, so I used the link that was emailed to me, and it took me to this page that says I'm unable to view. I don't have access to the meeting.
I just forwarded you a new
Yeah.
link.
There's another link?
Yeah.
Yeah, that link didn't work for me either.
I'm gonna turn off that.
Oh,
I'm just gonna.
okay. Well, I can see today's thing.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect. Okay, so the next item on our agenda is the report of the town manager.
Okay, so I was told that you've already have this report. You've probably already read it, and so if you have any questions, you're certainly welcome to throw them at me, and I will take them down, unless it's something I can answer very easily right now.
What's your question? Just a quick question. The water leak, it said it was found on the hill. Was that Great Hill, the new development?
Ooh, good question. To be honest, I was just reading this for the first time today, so I
Right
actually wasn't
underneath
aware.
that part.
I see the new development on the hill, and cruised past it immediately. So,
Okay, so my question would be, is the developer there responsible for that leak?
I can't answer that question, but I'll find out from Sean.
And
Councilor
just-
Conley.
Yeah, a follow-up. This was an email that the town manager Fournier sent out on September 6th, to let us know that this was identified on September 6th. It's September 21st. Do we have an update? It sounds like we're.
The update is, I'm sorry.
Councilor Robinson.
The update is that the leak was found up on the hill. I'm assuming they mean Great Hill.
Yeah. I just want to point out there's like a typo in here. It writes, at this time, the location of the leak is unknown. A water system leak specialist found the leak in the next sentence. So I just think, yeah, that might be part of the confusion. But if it says we didn't find the leak, and then it fits. Yeah, so it's just, sorry, I edit for life, so it worked, so.
Any other questions or comments regarding the town manager's report or the department reports? I'm seeing none. I did, actually, I have a comment. Let me just pull it up. I didn't write these down, I should have. It was around the welfare report, and sorry, it's a long scroll down. Does anybody else have any questions while I'm finding mine? Okay, no. All right, I can't find the exact spot, but I mean, first of all, I wanted to comment on the fact that I think I did a while back, but I think having the welfare reports is still fairly new, probably within the last year, and it's so helpful to see that aspect of our community and our budget, because I think that that's it's something that's been, we've talked a lot about over the last several years. The town welfare budget has been cut considerably from when I started anyway until now, and I I do fear that we are going to see a greater need in the community for town welfare. So it said in the report that they processed 9 completed welfare applications, which feels like a lot to me. I know that there have been in the past lots of inquiries, but I don't know that 9 completed welfare applications is typical. I think maybe it would be a good idea in the future. I mean, it may be this could be an annual, some annual information, especially as we go into budget season, to get a sense of the overall, what we see in the course of a year. Kind of like the police department does, and they compare several. Hang on, just one second, Colin. So I could have gone back through lots of, these department reports, and I didn't do that. So it would be nice just to see a comparison.
It's on page 86.
Yeah, sorry. And those are really my comments. I do think that, like I said, we've cut the welfare line item quite a bit, and I think that's something that as we start to, when we talk about our budget in October, that's definitely something that we should probably look at a little bit. Everything is increasing. We think about it in our own budgets, our town budgets, the cost of electricity, the cost of gas, the cost of housing. So I think we're going to see that a lot for the people who are in our community.
Can I say something?
Oh, please.
So I did actually meet with Heather, the welfare person, after, while we were building budgets. In fact, I met with her last Friday. She came in and we went through everything line by line. It's interesting you say that, because what I've been trying to do with everyone is to make sure we're building up from the bottom, essentially, how it is that these numbers were constructed. And that's something that, naturally I would hope to have from welfare. But something like numbers of applications and kind of a, from month to month that you can track throughout the year would be very helpful, particularly if those numbers were then connected to specifics. So I'll mention that to her when, actually I'll call her and mention this to her next week or later in the week.
And I think it would be helpful too to see number of inquiries versus number of completed applications too, because I know that they get a lot of people who inquire about welfare, but from my past experience, I know that the process can be really onerous for people, and it can just be overwhelming to actually complete the application and have all the necessary information that you need in order to have a completed application. And so sometimes people just give up pretty easily. So it would be just interesting to look at some of those numbers and how it is either, maybe it's decreasing, I don't think so, but to see what sort of increases we might have for the future. And then I did have one other comment, and that was on the department reports, and that was the overtime for DPW, which seemed kind of high. Usually we see that during snow season, and I didn't know if there was any event that maybe if something happened that I just wasn't thinking of in the last couple of months, because this is only since the beginning of the fiscal year, so it hasn't been very long. That was my only other question. Any other questions before we move on department reports or the town manager's report? Okay. Seeing none, committee reports.
Okay.
Councilor Ward.
So the CIP committee met for the last time on the 14th. We did our final review of all CIP projects. For our last meeting, we had asked members of the library, rec department, fire department to come, but they weren't able to attend. They sent some emailed answers, but we also had some questions, but given our timeline, we had some issues. A lot of our questions had to do with the fact that a lot of these organized departments already had a lot of money in their capital reserve funds, and they were asking for more money to put into them for future projects. And our question is, why couldn't they use the money that they already have saved up to pay for those? So for a couple of projects where it seemed like they had adequate funds, we recommended against it. Few exceptions being, let's see, for the rec department, because some of their big projects are going to be like a new skate park and possibly a new playground, which are going to cost a lot more than what they have saved up at the moment, I believe. Though those projects are on hold because they don't know where they are going to put the new skate park or the new playground yet, so that's a little premature to pay for that. We also sent out a list of recommendations about the CIP process. As to the departments, I can go over that right now. That's, yeah, okay. One of our biggest recommendations is that maybe the town should enter a retainer with an architect, just because a lot of our requests involve people looking for expanded space in police departments, aging facilities, and our recommendation might be entering some sort of retainer or some sort of agreement with a local architecture firm, so that when we have this, we have like someone on hand who can deal with it without. And so that was one. And the second one was simply to try to make. I'll just read what it is instead of trying to paraphrase. Is recommended in order the CIP committee to make better decisions in future planning sessions, the town ought to consider engaging in the development of an underlying capital improvement plan that outlines in principle the town's objectives and details the reasoning of the accomplishment of those objectives, would effectuate the goals enumerated in the town's master plan. Basically explain how these show how these various projects fit in with the town's master plan. And that was like our big concern, is like, does this as a project, how does this project fit in with our master plan and our goal for the next couple of years? And we also suggested, having each department put all their requests in one place, because we had a lot of requests that seemed like were cross-departmental, like a new speaker system in the rec field that could, come from them or the school, so maybe the school and the rec could split the cost out of the capital reserves. And new formats, definitely more time to do it, and a reiteration of a concern over using capital reserve funds to lease vehicles. That was again, simply because that's not what the capital reserve fund was meant to do, and the money in there is meant for major projects and emergencies rather than, continued lease payments. Oh, and a new capital reserve fund to be recommended for $75,000 for the Shanda Park living shoreline, so they can do a study of the living shoreline and get a real estimate of how much it'll cost, because right now they can't really say. And I believe I am all done talking.
I just have a question. Is that a recommendation from the CIP that we'll have to create a new fund for Shanda Park?
Yes. And at the moment, they were basically asking for almost upwards of $400,000. But like first they wanted $75,000 to basically do a study, so they can actually find out how much it would cost to. So the argument is, let's just establish the fund right off the bat for the study. Then from there we can find out how much it's actually going to cost us to do the living shoreline, and then we can actually plan on in advance like how much money we need to invest and how many years we can spread it across and all that.
Thank you. Any other? Councilor Brebeck.
Arts and Tourism met yesterday. their Artist Among Us event is coming up on October 1st. This will be artists doing, like selling their pieces as well as just displaying things in 2 locations. About half will be in the Moody Point neighborhood. And then, because that neighborhood generated this event for the first time independently last year. And then the other half will be at the library, outdoors. So that's October 1st from 11 to 3. I encourage people to swing by. The committee did have a question. The library asked them, do you have the permit you need to do an outdoor event? And they said, we are the town. Do we need to submit a request for a permit? Wouldn't be that big of a deal, just fill out the form, whatever, but there is a $15 fee, and they were like, does that come out of the Arts and Tourism budget into the town to get approval to have this outdoor event, because we created this permitting licensing board? So I did not know the answer to that, whether town committees need to apply for permits.
I don't know either. I wouldn't think so, but
I'm afraid to say anything.
Yeah.
I don't really know either. It
Like,
seems a
I
little
feel
bit
like when we
absurd.
built it, we explicitly carved that out. Like, of course, the town wouldn't have to apply to itself to have a
Right.
thing, but yeah, she has to.
But I think so maybe the fee would be waived, but part of that process isn't just generating the fee income.
Right,
You know,
of course,
it's really
no.
to make sure that all entities are aware that it's happening, that police is
Exactly.
aware, and so I don't think it would be a bad idea to go through the process.
Okay.
I would fill it out, the form, and I would assume, you know,
Yeah.
we would
We just
probably.
have such a small budget
We
that
would
they're
probably
kind of
waive
paying
the
attention to
fee,
things like that.
but I don't think that's an issue. It's more making sure everyone's aware and, making sure it's safe.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, that's so helpful. Thank you. And then they had a good conversation about kind of what is their role. You know, this summer they helped out with the Arts in the Park series and at Backyard Bash, and then we're considering helping with the Halloween Haunt, and then kind of want to take a step back, and they're like, is that related to arts or tourism? And just they started with so much energy, and they are already starting to feel like, oh no, we need to make sure that we don't burn ourselves out. And so after the first are going to be shifting gears towards just being a little more strategic and kind of thinking bigger picture about what their role is in town. And so there are still spots available on the committee, and so that is why I bring this up. If anyone out there is interested in kind of helping shape, it's going to be a really good time to join the committee. So I encourage people to put those applications in.
Great, thank you. Any other committee reports? Seeing none, we will move on to resolutions in the second reading, and we have 2 this evening. And the first is Resolution 2022-2023-6, and it's designating Newmarket as a Purple Heart community, and I would accept a motion to approve that resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any information that, other than what's in our packet? Was there anything that,
No, I actually haven't seen anything on this, so
Okay.
I apologize.
let's, any questions or comments?
I'll just say,
Councilwoman?
I've got a family member in every branch of the military. Granddad was in World War II, got the Purple Heart at Guadalcanal, I believe, or before that too. So yeah, I'm really happy that we're going through with this.
I had one quick question, although maybe, oh yeah, so the signs, and I mean, it's not, this doesn't affect how I plan to vote or anything like that, but there are signs proclaiming that we are a Purple Heart community. Do you have any sense of where they would be located?
I believe Steven said, excuse me.
Oh, please.
I believe that the town manager had said that normally they are placed on the markers of coming into town from each direction.
Okay.
They're on 108 on two ends.
So near like the town of Newmarket signs.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, that was my only question. Thank you. So seeing no other questions or comments, if you could call the roll, please.
Counselor Brayback?
Aye.
Counselor Lamatina?
Aye.
Counselor White?
Aye.
Counselor Ward?
Aye.
Counselor Conley?
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. The next item that we have is Resolution 2022-2023-07. And it's the energy, it's changing the membership of the Newmarket Energy and Environment Advisory Committee, and I would accept a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve the motion.
I'll second.
Any comments or questions regarding?
I'll
This
just make a
resolution.
comment that the intent is to bring the planning board and conservation commission members into the thing, especially where we're working on an update to the master plan.
Thank you. I will say when we, oh, please go ahead.
No, I was just,
Rebecca.
have the Conservation Commission and Planning Board been asked about if they have capacity or ability to send someone to this committee?
That's a good question.
I don't know about the conservation commission, but I know that the planning board has been informed and that they would like to send somebody.
They're on board. Cool.
And I would assume the conservation commission is on board too.
Thank you.
I know that when we originally established this committee, it did have, that was the original resolution, included a member of the Conservation Commission and the Planning Board, and the problem was that we couldn't get those people to come to the meetings, and so that's why we changed it. So hopefully, I think that there are different initiatives now, though, that would be more interesting, that fall more in the wheelhouse of the Planning Board and the Conservation Commission. So maybe they would be more interested in participating. So I think it's a very good thing. So seeing no other comments, if you could call the roll, please.
Counselor Brayback?
Aye.
Counselor Lamatina?
Aye.
Counselor White?
Aye.
Counselor Ward?
Aye.
Counselor Conley?
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
And then we have two resolutions tonight. Oh, no. Yes, sorry. Two resolutions tonight in the first reading. And so, let me just pull it up. The first is Resolution 2022-2023-09 American Rescue Act Fund Grant Authorization. Whereas the town is eligible to receive 30% grant up to $255,000 for its thickener project and $100,000 grant to evaluate its sewer collection system. And whereas in order to receive the grants, the town council must pass a vote to enter into an American Rescue Act Fund grant agreement with the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services to fund the sludge thickener and collection system projects. Now therefore let it be resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the Town Council authorizes the town manager to enter into an American Rescue Act Fund, ARPA, grant agreement with the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services and grants authority to the town manager to enter into the ARPA grant agreement and to execute any documents which may be necessary to effectuate the sludge thickener and collection system projects. First reading September 21, 2022. And the next item is, my computer's slow tonight, Resolution 2022-2023-10 authorizing the withdrawal of $16,000 to replace the roof at the senior center. Whereas the Newmarket Senior Center is owned by the Newmarket Housing Authority and maintained by the town of Newmarket, And whereas the Newmarket Housing Authority has determined through its insurance carrier that a new roof is needed for the center. And whereas the Housing Authority received 3 proposals and the town of Newmarket currently has $229,000 in the Building Improvement Capital Reserve Fund. Now therefore be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the Town Council authorizes the withdrawal from the Building Improvement Capital Reserve Fund for an amount not to exceed $16,000 to replace the roof at the Newmarket Senior Center and to authorize the town manager to enter into an agreement with Great Bay Roofing to replace the roof. First reading September 21, 2022. Okay. So then we have, under new business, we do have one letter to the town council, and that is a resignation letter from John Green, who served on the ZBA. He says, "Good evening, I hope this message finds you well. I am writing to inform you that I am moving to DC to be with my partner. Unfortunately, this means that I need to resign from my roles on the ZBA and the Newmarket Community Development Corporation. I very much enjoyed serving my community and learning from the dedicated individuals I have worked with. Please let me know if you need anything additional from me. Thank you." That's John Green. Do we need to take action on that?
You just accept it with regret.
Oh, so we, okay, so I would accept a motion to accept John Green's resignation with regret.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any comments? If you could call the roll, please.
Council Brayback?
Aye.
Council Lamatina?
Aye.
Council White?
Aye.
Council Ward?
Aye.
Council Conley?
Aye.
Council Weinstein?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
And there's no other correspondence to the council that I'm aware of. That's the only item on our agenda. So then any closing comments by town councilors? Oh, Councilor Ward.
Go alphabetically.
Yes, I was just gonna say, as we're training in the fall, I'm going through my clothes and stuff to donate. I want to remind everyone in town that we have a donation box for clothing right outside the town hall. I believe there's also one in the Walmart in Portsmouth, and there's the various thrift shops. So as you know, you're getting ready, putting away your spring stuff and putting away your summer stuff and taking out your winter stuff. You know, anything you don't need, someone might need. So just remember, you know, we have plenty of donation boxes and such around here.
Thank you.
Mine is just more of a follow-up on the last meeting when we were here. I was last here because I did miss the last meeting. No offense meant to anyone here, but my wife is more important. It's on public record now, right? Just following up on the last council meeting I attended in August, I'm in the process of reaching out to the planning board about their plans for the review of the town's master plan, and more specifically, plans for the section regarding affordable housing. I sent out correspondence to both the chair of the planning board and to Bart McDonough, who is the director of planning and community development, and heard back from Bart just yesterday afternoon. He and I are going to try to set aside some time to meet, to sit down and discuss the master plan and how the town is going to address the affordable housing crisis. I will continue to probe into the plans regarding affordable housing and how we are, as a community, are planning to address it, and report back from time to time with an update. Right now, the plans is to review the master plan by the planning board within the next 1.5 to 2 years. I, for one, don't believe that the people affected by the crisis can wait 1.5 to 2 years, but I will report back to the council any updates that I have when I get them. That's all I have.
Just a reminder to everybody that next Tuesday, 6 p.m., September 27th, the Town Council and the Environmental and Energy Commission will be sponsoring a webinar, New Hampshire Saves Button Up Newmarket, and how to make your house or apartment more energy efficient.
Is that here?
It's going to be broadcast on Channel 13, be live streamed on YouTube and Channel 13, as well as there's a website that, or a Zoom meeting that anybody can join into.
What time is that again? I'm sorry.
It's next 6 o'clock.
6.
Next Tuesday.
Yep.
I will send everybody the flyer that has all the information on it.
Thank you. Councillor Conley?
And if the public wants to tune in, where can they find the information? Where do they go?
The information is on the town website, as well as on Facebook and What the Hell's Happening in Newmarket and Newmarket Community Chat. And I'm going to be posting more stuff out there on reminders.
Great. Any other comments? I just have one announcement, and that is I have over the years hosted a roadside cleanup, or organized a roadside cleanup, I should say, usually every spring. This past spring, just due to personal issues, I didn't get around to it. So I reached out to Rick Molaski today just to see if we could get the bags and kind of the stuff that we need. So, so the date is October 15th. The time is TBD. It'll probably be in the morning. It's gonna. I mean, it's always pretty a low-key affair, but every time I drive, I live on Ashmont Road. I drive downtown all the time, so I drive to Epping often, and so I'm always on Ashmont Road and Grant Road in both directions, and the amount of litter that I see just makes me cringe. So I can't take it anymore. So we'll do, you know, and we'll get it done whenever we get done, and whoever shows up shows up. So it's kind of pretty easy. But I'll have more details. I will post things on Facebook on the, you know, What the Hell page and whatnot, and hopefully share things. Also, I have a poster that I can share with Tim, so for Channel 13 and for our newsletter. And we can see what we get done on our major roadways, because I think that the Conservation Commission, Melissa Brogel, has coordinated something for a couple years now, but I think that a lot of their stuff is more focused in like neighborhoody kind of things, and it's these throughways that get so much litter because people just throw stuff out of the window. So I don't understand how that happens. But people continue to do it. So, what's that?
Bad parenting.
Something. There's a part of me that likes to think that it's, you know, because of recycling, you know, things get blown out of. But if that were the case, it wouldn't be primarily, you know, beer cans and nips and nuts, you know, and Trader, you know, like Roma Joe's iced coffee. Like it's crazy. So anyway, the more people we have, the more roads we get done, and that'll be that. So I'll have more updates at our next meeting, but you know, keep that date in mind. It'll be in the morning at some point on the 15th. And that's all I have. So, no other comments? Seeing none, our next meeting is October 3rd, and I will consider us adjourned. Thank you.